To learn about the off-grid lifestyle and to be inspired to live your dreams, click subscribe so you don't miss anything. Hit the bell notification. I was really surprised how good it felt to get back to splitting wood. As I said in an earlier video, I just got a big load of wood from somebody who was giving it away from a tree they cut down in their backyard. So I spent about a half hour this morning splitting the wood. It's cooled down quite a bit. Last night it got down to 59 degrees. Here it is, August 2nd, 59 degrees. And I know that because my trail cam has the temperature on it, and at 3:30 this morning it was 59 degrees. I was able to spend a little bit of time splitting the wood again, and then I got back to my regular chores. I tell you, I don't know what it is, but there's something really nice about splitting wood. I just don't understand it. I guess it's the independence and the freedom of it all. I've talked about that a lot in my videos. Being free, not having to rely on anybody. I got a story I want to tell you. I remember when I was in the Navy, I was on a submarine at Bangor, Washington. So I lived in Silverdale. I was married. So if you look on a map, you'll see that Silverdale is, I don't know, 5 miles away from Bangor, Washington. But the base itself is huge. The boat was in, and we were getting ready to switch crews. There was 2 crews on a submarine, a blue and a gold, and I was on gold crew. I was in charge of the paint mixing room. There was a room on the pier. So you went into the pier and you mixed paint. That way they could go paint the submarine. I didn't have a car. I was married, didn't have a car, you know, young and dumb. I had a car, but it broke down before I went into the Navy, and I wasn't able to get it fixed. So we went up there on an airplane, and we relied on public transportation. So I called a taxi every morning. And I don't know, it was relatively, I guess, expensive. I don't remember what it was. Let's say it was $3 or $4. And they were always very prompt. But one day, they weren't. And I was an hour late. Now, I don't know if you know what that means, being an hour late. And back then, they didn't have cell phones. I don't remember why I didn't try to think of calling my boss. I don't remember. I'm sure he would have understood, or he probably would have come and got me. I was in deck division at the time. I hadn't even gotten into a regular division yet. Fortunately, no one ever found out that I was late because I was in the paint room. But from that moment on, I learned never, ever, ever, ever rely on anybody ever again. Because as soon as you do rely on somebody, they fail you. Because they don't have a vested interest in your life. They don't care. $5 for me, $4 for me, to take me into the Navy base. I think he even said, oh, I had a long trip. I had to take this lady over to Gig Harbor. Well, that would have been a $50 trip for him, but it was nothing. $4 for him, who cares? So my life, my livelihood was at stake, and he didn't care. It amazes me how many people have not witnessed this, or don't experience it, or don't realize it's happening to them. I don't get it. And they always play the victim card. I never played the victim card. I always stood up and took responsibility for myself. If I have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to walk to the Navy base now, that's what I would do. Immediately, I think that weekend, went out looking for cars, went over to Gig Harbor, and I bought, I don't remember what year it was, like a 60-something Chevy Bel Air. Bought it from a dealer on credit, and I remember that the back wheel had come loose from the frame. And so I took a U-bolt and I held that U-bolt up against the frame. It never stayed in place, but got me back and forth to work until I could buy At the time, I bought a Ford Ranger, 92 Ford Ranger, I think it was. I've always relied on myself ever since that day. Never trusted anybody, ever. Which brings me to today's subject is, the other day, about a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, I mentioned that the mortgage moratorium would be ending soon. I said it in passing. And I said, man, that would be terrible if 11 million people all of a sudden became homeless. And some woman in my comment section just chewed me up and down. How dare you spread fear like that? That would never happen. The government is never going to allow 11 million people to become homeless. Yesterday, Sunday, was the end of the mortgage moratorium. And you know where government is right now? Our Congress went home for August break. Please stop the video and read this message. They didn't pass any bills. They didn't do anything. They let 11 million people become homeless. I don't know if they're homeless today. I don't know the whole process. But Congress is going to be gone for the entire month. As a matter of fact, there were several congressmen camped out on Congress's doorstep to protest this ridiculous thing. This woman who chewed me out was relying on people who do not care about us to take care of us. I've said this before. If you're going to trust government to take care of you, they don't care about anybody but themselves. And I don't care who it is. I don't care who the politician is. They are only worried about themselves. This is just the way things work in the world. We're all selfish, all of us. You're selfish that you want to take care of your kids, not somebody else's kids. You're selfish that you want to take care of your spouse, not someone else's spouse. And those who say, oh, no, I would take care of somebody else's spouse before I take care of mine, there's no way that is true. If my wife needs food, and his wife needs food, and I see an animal there that I can eat, do you think I'm just going to run it over there? Oh, here, take my wife's food. I just don't see anybody doing that. I just can't imagine that being true. So we come back to this mortgage moratorium and how government's going to take care of us. They're not going to take care of us. They're worried about their power. And right now, it's not advantageous to take tax dollars and give it to somebody else because they know that they're coming up for elections soon. Do they want 11 million votes of the people who are going to be homeless, or do they want the 50 million votes that are going to vote them back into office? So I was reading an article about this morning because it had me concerned. This family down in Florida, he was a bartender and she was an accountant. I guess they both got laid off because of the shutdown. And they got 6 kids. They decided that they wanted to improve their education, which is fine by me, okay? So they want to be a nurse. So they started taking online courses. Well, I don't know where they got the money for the online courses. It would seem to me that if you're worried about losing your home, you might want to pay the rent. But, okay. Well, now the mortgage moratorium is over. They're upset. Well, what am I going to do now? I can't take online courses anymore because I won't have internet. The shelters are full, so they won't take us. I'm trying to understand why people didn't learn what I learned when I was 18 years old. You cannot rely on the taxi, and you definitely can't rely on the government. So you have to take care of yourself first. To rely on anybody to come in and rescue you from your rent mortgage, not even logical thinking. I know people who still have not received their stimulus check. And how many months ago was that? They're still waiting. If you're relying on that money to take care of you, how are you eating? What are you going to do? And I know there are a lot of people in life that just thinks it'll work itself out. But I've never had that experience. I've always been the type that if it goes wrong, there's only one person here to bail me out, me. So I try to take care of myself all the time. It's like getting in a car. I have a hard time letting someone else drive. It's very difficult for me to sit in the passenger seat because I'm putting my life in somebody else's hands. I don't know how good of a driver they are. I'm not saying I'm any better of a driver. I'm just saying at least I have the control to either be in an accident or not to be in an accident. And this is why I think I live off grid. And I want to take care of myself. If it's 20 below out and all of a sudden the power goes out, I have nothing to worry about. I got plenty of heat. I still have electric from my solar panels and generator. I can still get water. I've got backup systems for my water. all those folks down in Texas this last year who lost electric for days on end had to go, what did they do? I think several people actually perished from that because we're relying on the electric company to take care of us. And as soon as we do that is when the electric company is going to fail us. Backup systems, I have backup systems, and I still wonder, do I have enough backup systems? The Puritans or the Pilgrims came over to the United States. They started a communal service where everybody just worked the land. And so all the wives would get together and they would all cook and they would all wash the clothes, and all the men would get together. They'd all go out and till the field. And it wasn't long before nobody showed up to work. Nobody came in because the men didn't want to take care of other people's children. The women didn't want to take care of other people's men. I just Googled this, make sure I was right. So the only way they were able to make this work was they said, okay, you can have that piece of land, you can have that piece of land, and they started working the land themselves. It became a selfish, but it's very easy for society to fall into laziness if you think somebody else is going to do it. And that's what's happening, is we decided that somebody was going to take care of us and take care of our rent, and they decided not to. Are these folks going to become desperate? Are they going to come onto our property and start taking our food and our things to help them out? I mean, I already know of our neighbor. She had chickens stolen. I guess somebody was hungry, a homeless guy was hungry, came onto her property and took her chickens. Is that going to be a regular occurrence now? I hope I can inspire you to rely on yourself so you can live your dream. Thanks for watching.